Hello once again, folks. We are back with a little bit of a discussion of the parts of speech. This is going to be a very technical, sort of just bare bones of English. So you might want to skip this if you know this, but it's a good stepping stone for the next step in these lessons I want to teach on English. So let's look at the parts of speech, right? Let's start off with a simple one. Nouns. They're stuff, they're things, they're objects, they're ideas. They are not necessarily tangible things, but you can think of them as like objects, like a plane, money, dog, hand, man, or like a thought. So those are nouns. Those are like your basic bread and butter. Next up is I believe the pronoun. Yeah. So the pronoun is a form. It's a form of the noun. It's basically something in the place of the noun in order to shorten it. So words like he, she, it, they, I. So instead of saying like Johnny went to Johnny's mother's house, you would say Johnny went to his mother's house. The his is just to shorten things. Next up is the verb. Now this is the action word. Now you're always going to have one of these in a sentence. We're going to discuss this later. Actions like to think, to run, to throw. These are things that are actions. I mean, you could think of it that way. In every sentence you have a verb. Important to note that is, are, and am, all these forms of to be, right? Oh, there should be on there too. To be, to become, is, are. Like, these are all verbs as well, but they're a little more delicate, is the way I can put it right now, but you gotta be a little more careful with those. They're less clear cut. Next up, adjectives. These are descriptions. Fat, slow, green. You attach them to a noun. That's why you got an arrow pointing to the noun there. You modify a noun with these. He's not just a man, he's a slow man. It's not just a plane, it's a green plane. That's how adjectives work. Adverbs. What are adverbs? There should definitely be an arrow pointing to verb as well there instead of just adjective. These are words that modify a verb like adjectives modify a noun. So, you don't just run, you run slowly. You don't just think, you think poorly. There's a pattern here, if you may notice, of the adverbs. Almost like 99% of adverbs end with ly, and you'd be hard-pressed to think of one that doesn't. Okay, next up. Conjunctions. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. The fanboys words. These are linking words. But I believe it's really only these, or they're the most common for sure. But they link things. He and I. It's like blah, blah, blah. I did this for I'm in love with her. That kind of stuff. They join clauses and sentences. They join things. Prepositions. These are tough ones. These are words that express a relationship between things. They precede a noun or a pronoun. This is a tough one. They bring in prepositional phrases to sentences, adding information that isn't part of the main clause. We will go more in depth for this later. But basically, like, I did this for you. This house on the hill. We go through the tunnel. These little things like, through the tunnel, on the hill, for you. These are all called prepositional phrases, and we will discuss them later. But that's what a preposition is. They lead into this little sub-clause, or like sub-information. And finally there's interjections like, oh, wow, short things that you might shout. Not really a problem on the SAT with just formal writing. Let's look at a sentence. The green pig and his son jumped quickly over the hurdle. Now, let's break this down. Green is an adjective. Pig is a noun. And is a conjunction. His is a pronoun. Son is a noun. Jumped is a verb. Quickly is an adverb. Preposition. Over is a preposition. And hurdle is a noun. You can see how these all connect together, right? The adjective, green, is modifying the noun, pig. The pronoun, his, is modifying the pig. Or taking the place of the pig, so it's not awkward. There's your verb. He didn't just jump, he jumped quickly. And then over the hurdle gives you your little prepositional phrase. A little fun fact. The word the, and, the, a, and, the, the letter A, and an are called articles. Now, we don't have to worry about that. They're not really a part of speech so much, but they're good to know. Anyway, I hope that was helpful.